Alright, hello. So the Grand Prix are over, but that doesn't mean the game stops here. I've been playing a lot recently, trying to beat all of the velo times. And yes, I'm fully aware that there's also the Beanox dev times. But I would rather dip my eyes in acid than try and beat William P at Crash Cove. But anyway, there will not be any more new tracks added into the game, which is a bit sad, but it's amazing that they added 8 brand new tracks in the first place. And the amount they've actually added and improved the game has beyond exceeded my expectations by a long shot. I thought, now that I've had enough experience with every track, I would give some thoughts and rank them from worst to best. I do love ranking things. I'll be ranking them based on the layout, music, theming, scenery, as well as my own silly little opinions. I'm sure some of you will agree, and inevitably some of you will disagree. Let me know your favourites of the Grand Prix tracks and what is your least favourite. With that being said, let's start at the bottom at number 8. So then, my least favourite of the Grand Prix tracks has to unfortunately be Gingerbread Joyride. I'm saying least favourite because genuinely all of the new tracks are very well made. So I don't hate any of them quite like I hate Turbo Track and William P, for example. Maybe I do hate Gingerbread Joyride a little bit. Mostly it's the jellies on the final section. I can never work out the pattern and where they're going to move to. I just end up getting squashed and annoyed. I don't like being annoyed and squashed at the same time. That's not a good combination. Can't we just put them into a trifle already? Just get them off the track. Another factor that doesn't help this track is the theming. Since it's Christmas themed and I don't exactly feel in the mood to play a Christmas level while I'm sweating my balls off in the summer, overall, the corners are far too tight as well. The shortcut actually, quite a lot of things annoy me about this track. The shortcut annoys me. I hate the jellies. But the music is pretty jolly, so there's that. I hate everything else though, so it's number 8. So, in at number 7 is Twilight Tour. This track suffers quite a lot from being the first of the Grand Prix circuits, so it did end up being a little bit basic. There just isn't much going on in the backgrounds for this track compared to the other GP tracks at least. And I've never been a fan of half the track being daytime and the other half nighttime. It always feels a bit jarring and a very odd choice, but it is still a fun circuit to race on. I just never feel myself getting excited about racing on this one. The soundtrack as well for this level just ended up being one of the more forgettable tunes in the game and a little bit annoying in parts. I do however like how it is themed like the ancient Egypt levels from Crash Warped. Just overall a mediocre track. In at 6 is Megamix MANIA, home to the hardest shortcut in the game. That's in my opinion anyway. Does anyone else think there's a harder shortcut? Let me know what is the hardest shortcut in your opinion. But since you can fail this one even with Blue Flame, I think it's the hardest one. Should I rank the shortcuts? I seem to rank everything else, so why not? Let's rank all the shortcuts from hardest to easiest. I don't know, worst to best. Anyway, yes, back to this video. It's already losing points for the amount of frustration that shortcut caused me. I do love the theming for this track though, and it looks amazing. Especially the little callbacks to, engine ship with Rusty Walrus on the side. I just personally never had a fun time with this one due to its high level of difficulty. So feel free to laugh at me and say I suck. I will admit though, after learning the tracks, they do become much more enjoyable. Once you're better at a track, they are much more enjoyable than when you suck at them. So yes, the reason it's down this low is because I'm very bad at it. But at least I'm a lot less negative about it now than in my GP video. This one's a solid effort. So, in at number 5 is the Spyro-themed Spyro circuit. First of all, it's already getting negative points for having a stupid name. I get that it's named after Spyro, but could they really not think of anything else, like a Spyro Speedway or Artisan Highway? I mean, I just came up with those off the top of my head. But yes, people that know me know that I love Spyro. So no matter what, the fact that there's a Spyro themed circuit in CTR is already blowing my mind. I love how it's themed with lots of references to the first Spyro game. I just wish the track wasn't so tight and hard to navigate. I'm also not a big fan of the portals. I'd have much preferred it if I was going to have portals in this track that they took you to a different section themed after each different Spyro game. So, for example, the first section is Spyro 1, second is Spyro 2, then third is Spyro 3 themed. The soundtrack for this track is among my favourites from the GP tracks. I mean, it's Spyro music, composed by Stuart Copeland. Of course it's an orgasm for the ears. Also, screw those wizards that fire across the track. I wish I could just bash those wizards out the way. So, in the top 4 is Drive-Through Danger. Many people will say this is the hardest of the GP tracks to master. And they would be correct. Whereas I do struggle more with Megamix Mania, this track is brutal. It's basically Hot Air Skyway, but thinner, and there's less barriers, so you're even more likely to fall off the circuit. Also, potentially this track has the hardest shortcut for many, as you have to skip across multiple sections and try to hold on to Blue Flame at the same time. I just always feel on the edge of my seat when racing on this track. Again, my first thoughts were this track is far too hard and I'm never going to be able to do the shortcuts. But the more I played it, the more I enjoyed it. I feel like the final GP track was a very decent addition. So, inside the top 3 is Koala Carnival, which might be quite controversial because I often see comments from people saying this track isn't very good and that's just oval and boring. However, I have really liked this one from the start, but then I also liked Ruse Tubes and Crash Cove. Maybe I just enjoy the simpler layouts. For me, it makes the racing much more closer and evenly matched. Since an average player will stand no chance on a very high difficulty track, I just feel like this track flows really well and the theming is brilliant with lots of things going on. The circus music, however, can be irritating, but I can understand why they added it into the game. It just, as it fits with the theming, it's just a very annoying soundtrack though, and probably one of my least favourites. I just don't think this track deserves the hate it gets. I will admit it is a bit short. If the loading times for the game were better, this wouldn't be a problem, but I can understand that spending the same amount of time loading into the level as playing it can be very frustrating. Just missing out on the top spot is Nina's Nightmare, the spooky Halloween themed track. Again, when I first played this one, I didn't enjoy it too much, but once you master the Blue Flame it becomes a wild ride. It is no coincidence that 7 of the 8 bonus tracks had Blue Flame boost pads. It makes them so much more exhilarating. I mean, imagine this track without Blue Flame, it'd be a bit dull and boring. One negative about this track is the giant spider. I feel like those types of gimmicky obstacles are just very frustrating, just get in the way and just don't make the racing as fun. The theming for this level is spot on and is among my favourites, especially the pumpkins and the crooked house. And the soundtrack is a banger with that mix of high tempo, upbeat and slow spooky music all mixed into one. However, there is one GP circuit I like more than Nina's Nightmare. That's right, my favourite of the GP circuits has to be Prehistoric Playground. It overall just has everything you want from a circuit. It's roughly the perfect length, as it's not too short like Rouge Tubes or too long like Tiny Arena. There's inventive shortcuts, and did I mention it has dinosaurs? That I really like dinosaurs. Look at the dinosaurs. There's dinosaurs. Did you see the dinosaurs? The theming is just perfect with all the fake crashes and fake crash dinosaurs. Did you see the dinosaurs? Again, keeping Blue Flame is a very big challenge, and I'm always on the edge when racing around this track. I'd like to thank Beanox for all of the love and effort they put into making these circuits. With that being said, it is now sadly the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like and possibly even subscribe. I hope to have a video on the top 10 hardest velo time trials soon, and I'll see you around. Take care and leave me alone.